So when your quilt top is made and you've decided what kind of batting you're going to get, the last thing you're going to need is your backing fabric. And this is the fabric that goes in the back of your quilt. And today I'm going to talk about what you need and how to calculate how much to get. Welcome to Epida Studio. My name is Elizabeth and I help you make beautiful things with quilting, pajagi, and embroidery. So if you've been following along in this series for making your quilt, you know I've stepped you through how to make your quilt top. And today I'm going to be talking about fabric for the back of the quilt. So this is just general information for any quilt that you make. And my samples that I'm going to be talking about are from this project, but the same thing applies to any quilt. So any quilt top that you have and you're trying to figure out how much backing fabric to get, how do I do that, you're going to be able to use this information for that. The first thing you're going to want to do is to actually measure the size of your quilt top. So lay it out somewhere where you can and then just use a ruler to measure it. Now if you have this kind of a ruler, it's going to be a lot easier than if you have a little ruler and you're trying to measure, or if you're trying to use a measuring tape like this. So if you have one, then get a construction measuring tape just to measure it quickly. But if not, you can use something else. This measurement doesn't have to be super precise. You don't need to know to the 1/4 inch. You can always round off, but you just need to make sure that your backing fabric is big enough. So measure your fabric and then remember you're going to want to add 6 to 8 to each one of those dimensions because you do want your backing fabric to be bigger, and I will explain why when we get to doing the quilting. It's just so much easier and it gives you more to work with. So once you've taken the measurements, then the first thing you want to ask yourself is, are either of those numbers smaller than 40 inches? And if they are, then you are in luck because you can just go get regular quilting cotton right off the bolt and use that as your backing fabric. Now I say 40 inches, sometimes you can get fabric that's 42, 43 inches. Double check the actual width of the fabric, and if your quilt top dimensions are close, then you might be able to get away with even 42 inches, but then it's super easy. You're just going to measure the length and then you know that's how much fabric you need to get. However, a lot of the time you have a quilt that's bigger than that, and so you're going to need to do something different on the back. So that's the options that I'm going to talk about today. So the first thing is you can get fabric that is wider, and often this is called wide back, and that and the width of that varies a little bit, but usually it's over 100 inches wide. And so most quilts will be able to fit into there. And so if you can get a piece of fabric, so the back is just a single piece of fabric with no seams in it, then that is going to be the easiest thing that you have to work with. Now for the quilt that I did in the Make Your First Quilt Simple Rail Fence, you're going to be looking for fabric that's either 52 inches by 69 inches or 50 or 60 inches square. And so the wide back, you're going to have a lot of extra left over. So if you're okay with that, you can use that for another project, but you might not want to use that much fabric. So how do you calculate how much fabric you need if you're buying just your 40-inch wide fabric? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of examples. And sometimes when you get a quilt pattern, it will say you need 4 yards of backing fabric or 5 yards of backing fabric. And that's not always helpful because there's different ways that you can do your backing fabric. So it's always good to be able to calculate this for yourself. So I'm going to show you a couple of different options. So this is my diagram for the rectangular, my 5x7 version of the Simple Rail Fence. And for this, I want about 52 inches wide and 69 inches long. So for the backing fabric, if I had fabric that was 40 inches wide and I just took it and I cut 2 strips that were 40 inches by 69, 70 inches, then I could sew my two pieces together. And so here's my one strip, here's my second strip. And so you can see I do have all this excess. So again, just like with wide back, this is excess fabric that I can save for another project. So that is one option. And if I did that option, I would have to get two pieces of fabric. So that would be, we'll say 70, that's 140. And so divide that 140, because that's the length of fabric. I'll divide that by 36 to figure out how many yards. And that is about 4 yards. So this one would be 4 yards. If I can write upside down. Now, that's one way to do it. There's another way I could look at this. I could think of, instead of having my seam going vertically, I could have my seam going horizontally. So then I could get a piece of fabric that's 40 inches by 52 inches, and then get another piece of fabric. So this one is also 42 inches by 52. Now I have much less left over. So this is much closer fit. And this is just because of these dimensions. If your quilt was different dimensions, then this long way might have less left over. So you have to kind of think about it and do a little bit of math. But in this one, so I'd have one length that's 52 inches and another length that's 52 inches. So that's 104. Divide that by 36, and that is going to be approximately 3 yards. And I do usually round up in this situation. If I calculated and it was like 4.8, I would always get 5. I wouldn't get 4.8, because then it leaves me a chance if my edges aren't totally straight from being cut from the store. But this one is 3 yards, so this is less. Now, there might be occasional situations that even though this one takes more fabric, you might want to do this one. So for example, if I had a fabric I wanted to use on the back and it had vines and flowers and I wanted those to be going the length of the quilt instead of the width, then I could do this. So for sure, this is not wrong. It just gives you more fabric left over at the end. If you love that fabric and you're gonna wanna make something to coordinate it or something else, then yeah, get this one and you have this big piece left over. So it's not a rule that says you have to do one or the other, but you should be able to figure out, if you wanna know what's the least amount of fabric I can get, this is how you would figure that out. Now my other sample for the simple rail fence is for a square quilt that's 6 blocks across, 6 blocks down. So that will give us 54 inches square for the top. So for the backing, I want 60 inches square. So because this one's square, then it's gonna be the same whether I go horizontally or vertically, but I'll have my one piece. So here's my 40 inches, and then I'll have my other piece that's 40 inches. So I would have this piece left over. However, in this scenario, there is another option of something I could do. I could, if I wanted to have an extra seam, I could get another piece, imagine off the bolt that was 30 inches long, and then cut that in half and put what, because these, if I cut that in half, it's going to be now 20 inches and 20 inches wide, and I can put one 20 inches by 30 here, and then the other one 20 inches by 30 here. So now I don't have any extra. I have my main piece and then these two side pieces. So that is getting a little bit more complicated, but if you can keep those 3 seams flat and straight, then this is an option where you wouldn't have any fabric left over. So sometimes that is an option, but just remember, the more seams you have in the back, the more difficult it's going to be to have your piece be totally flat and smooth. So that leads me to my next thing, is that Sometimes you'll see quilts and they have their top is pieced and then they also have like another quilt on the back. It's pieced of all little pieces. So is that an option? Yes, it is, but I don't recommend that for your first project. For your first project, your whole goal is to try and get all your seams done so that your piece stays flat. And sometimes that's a challenge. And that's a challenge because you're learning. It's a new skill. But that's what you want to have. And if your front isn't totally flat, then you can deal with that in the quilting. But if your front isn't flat and your back isn't flat, then you're going to run into some big problems in your quilting. And if you were going to take this to a long arm quilter, they quite often would refuse to do that just because of the challenges that are involved. So when you've done a bunch of quilts, then feel free to build up to that. But I don't recommend that for your first project. The easiest thing you're going to get is to have one flat piece of fabric with no seams in it. Now, because you want a big piece of fabric, that leads to some other questions about other things. Can you use fabric that's not fabric bought on a bolt at a quilt shop? Well, that can be sometimes controversial, so here's my take on it. The first thing that people sometimes want to use is sheets. And that makes total sense because a sheet is a big flat piece of fabric and it doesn't have any seams in it, and often it's a really similar size. So can you use sheets for the back of your quilt? Well, I'm not going to say an automatic no, you can never use sheets. I have used sheets for the back of quilts, but here's some things to think about. The first thing is thread count. Now, when you're getting sheets, you often want to have a super high thread count because it feels so nice. But sometimes if you have a really high thread count, that can make it difficult to stitch on. So I would try and avoid any kind of super fancy sheet that has a high thread count or that has unusual fibers in it or that has any kind of something in the fibers to help it be smooth or soft. Look for something, if you can, that's just plain cotton, and then you're going to want to for sure wash that. If you have old sheets that are cotton that are still in decent condition but they've been used a lot, that might be a really good choice. So just take a look on the sheets first to see if there's any flaws or any wear and tear, and you can possibly use that. Some people I know, some quilters always use sheets. They love using sheets for the back of the quilt, and other people are like, I would never use that. That's inferior fabric for this. So I'm not going to come down on hard line on either side of that. I say sometimes it's a good choice, but be careful about what you're using. And keep in mind, it also depends how you're going to quilt it. If you're going to quilt it on your home machine, if you're going to do free motion, if you're going to take it to a long armor, those are all things that will affect your choice of what you can use for the backing fabric. Now, sometimes there's other fabrics that people want to use. I've seen a lot of people make quilts and they have a fabric on the back that is called minky, and this is a super soft fabric, and quilts with that are so cuddly, and especially for kids or baby quilts, then it feels really nice. So obviously many people do it. You can use minky on the back of your quilt. However, don't recommend it for a first project. Minky is a little bit stretchy and it's very challenging to work with. And many experienced quilters, when they try and use minky, are pulling their hair out and saying bad words because it's really frustrating. So save yourself the trouble. Do that when you have a bit more experience, and then you can go on and use minky. Don't try it in your first quilt. And the same with fleece. Fleece can make a nice warm blanket. It can be fun to use on the back. Not for your first project. It's stretchy. It requires special things to think about. So save yourself the trouble on this project. Do one successful project and be happy with it, and then you can move on and try a little bit more difficult things. One last fabric that sometimes people like to use is flannel. And flannel is similar to the minky. It's soft and it's warm, but it's not as kind of fuzzy as minky. So flannel is easier to work with than minky. So if you really want something flat, soft on the back, flannel is an okay choice. But flannel is a little bit more difficult to work with than quilting cotton. So if you're ready for the challenge, you can try flannel. However, be sure to pre-wash the flannel if you're going to use it, because flannel and your quilting cotton will shrink at different rates. And so if your back shrinks a lot and your front doesn't, then it can cause puckering and pulling of your pieces. So be sure to pre-wash the flannel if you're going to use it on the back, because often it shrinks more. So what I recommend for your first project is anything that you can get that is one big solid piece of fabric. If that's not available, then you can start to piece pieces together, but try and have as few seams as possible, and ideally only one seam. So once you have your pieces, then you're going to sew them together on wherever your seam is going to be. And I often on the back, I will use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I don't use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I just want this seam to be extra secure. And another thing to think about, and this is kind of old school, people used to always say, don't put your seam in the middle of your quilt, because if your seam is at a place where it's going to get folded a lot, so if your seam was in the middle and then you always folded your quilt in half, then that could add stress to the seam. So that is a minor detail, and I'm showing my quilting age with even saying that as a tip, but that's something to keep in mind. Wherever the seam is, try not to always fold your quilt right on where that seam is. So like always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I will help you out with that. And let me know if you found any fabric. And for backing, in terms of color, it's whatever you want. You can have something matching, you can have something that's totally different, so you turn it over and it's a big surprise. It's up to you, so have fun picking a fabric for the back of your quilt. And the next video is going to be talking about starting to put all the layers together. For more tutorials and patterns, you can check out my website, epidastudio.com.